Okay, guys, sorry about that. I see I had a couple of technical issues and I apologize about that. But let's start all over again. That's the beauty behind digital, is if you do make an error or a mistake, you can quickly rectify it and get back out there. So I'm sorry about that. I think you saw me talking with no sound and no voice, and also had a bit of a technical error with one of my buttons. So I quickly went and fixed that. Sorry about that, guys. So welcome. My name is Lucille Devine, and I'm happy that you've joined me today, because today we get to talk about something that I really am excited about, and that is big data. Big data is very much connected to human behavior. And if you're a person that always sits and observes people and behavior and gets excited about talking about metaphysics or anything around human behavior and why we do the things that we do, you will definitely appreciate today's lesson with regards to big data. So let's hop on through. I'm going to just give you some insights as to how to use this platform together with me. I love engaging with people, so I would absolutely ask you to please get involved, ask some questions, and also, yes, and give your opinion around some of the learning that you might find today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Just give me a second. You're going to go into infinity and beyond. Just give me a second as I share my screen. Okay. All right. So guys, right now you're hanging out with me, Lucille Devine. You should be sitting on this page. Welcome to Big Data, an introduction to digital marketing and analytics. And there you'll see me up on the video. And way below the actual content, as well as the little button, you'll notice that there is a comment stream down below here. So what I'd like you to go and do, please, is just go click this auto refresh box. Make sure that it's the tick is not seen, just because that allows you to actually then type in your whole comment and then go ahead and post it. If you don't click that off, often what happens, because the timeline I've actually timed for every 3 seconds to refresh, just so that I can monitor and watch what is happening within my group, and to see if you have any questions. That's how come I've got that auto refresh on. But please, from your side, you can take that auto refresh off in order for you to just go and comment and get involved, ask me questions. So now what I'd like you to do is, the very first thing is just to let me know that you're here. Let me know who you are, where you come from, and also what you're expecting to learn from this particular hangout this morning. So if you could go ahead and do that, and I'll keep on refreshing the screen. Just let me know that you're here, who you are, and what you are expecting to get out of this training this morning. Thanks for joining Coffee Shop Entrepreneur. I know that you are on my last hangout. It's a pleasure having you back here for some more. Thank you. Fantastic. Good, clear, and great. Okay. All right, I'm going to carry on because I'd like to cover quite a bit today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop straight into my presentation, and then we can take it from there. Okay, guys, my name is Lucille Devine. I'm known as the Digital Marketing Maverick, only because of my love for pushing the bounds and trying to really do innovative things in the digital sense. And I really like to try things more than once. The Hangouts that you hear live on Facebook is a testament to my name. And again, it's just about pushing the mark and breaking the tools and making them work for your line of work. That's what interests me. But my absolute passion is making things work for you. I am the kind of person, and I've actually built a business and a consultation business around helping entrepreneurs. Not only do I go and help entrepreneurs understand digital marketing, but I'm also involved with other institutions that where I actually go and I mentor them in their businesses, in their startups, in order for them to actually reach their potential. So you can see I'm involved with quite a few projects and initiatives, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here hanging out with you today. I hope that I fulfill the need that you are seeking, and I hope that I give you valuable information that you can actually take this and use it and implement it in your business. All right, so let's get started. I've now landed on the page. Thank you so much. For those of you who are not aware, I've actually started doing regular weekly webinars. You can go on to my last week's webinar where I talk all about brand. And in fact, that's the very first point that you're wanting to actually start on. So remember to go start with regards to the first week webinar that I had, which was held last week. And it's falling in love with your brand and understanding what your brand assets are. What is a brand identity and what encompasses all of those elements that go into brand. If you go through to this particular training first, you will understand that this builds on top of the training that I'm going to be delivering to you today. And it just gives you a full spectrum of how you should approach digital. So if you haven't, please take the time. There is a replay app. Go and watch brand, falling in love with your brand. Okay. In order for us to understand big data, one of the main things that we have to understand is the need for human curiosity and the need for the human communication. Now, humans will communicate, and we have been communicating from the word go, but it's that impact that the communication has. All communication leaves a pattern, it leaves a print. It actually leaves a code. And for us to really understand what big data is, we need to understand how communication started and what that necessity or that need is for humans to communicate and connect with other people. So let's delve right in here today and with a little bit of a story. Now, understanding communication, we have to take it right back to the roots from the history that we already know. When we were developing as humans, the way that we expressed ourselves, the way that we told story, and the way that we communicated is that we often used to draw on cave walls. We used to depict our daily grind, what we used to do, as well as all of the gatherings that we used to have, significant dates as well during the year. We used to go and actually create that and express that on rock art. From there, it started to evolve, and people then started to use smoke signals to call larger number of groups together to have a gathering, a communication of sorts where they could actually express what they were doing, how they were living, what they were planning to do. And this is how communication started to evolve. From there, this bled into the African continent. And here, right in Africa, we developed a talking drum. And this talking drum would have certain kinds of beats that would call across the savannas and actually call bigger gatherings and call people towards an Ubuntu, a tribal gathering where people would talk about what was happening in their daily lives, in their villages, in their communities. So the African drum was very significant because they harnessed on the power of audio. Bleeding the 18th century, the very first printing press was actually developed and designed and ran in China, funnily enough. And now media started to kind of evolve. Communication had evolved even more now because no longer was it just by word of mouth. Now you could read about what was happening around the globe, in your community, in your city, in your town. So print media became quite significant in the threshold of communication. Enter World War I and World War II, where this particular instrument, the telegraph, was used quite widely. And with that came a huge sense of connecting different continents within the world. With this particular instrument, the telegraph, People would read dot and dash messages called Morse code. And through that, people could communicate as to what was happening during the world wars. Again, enter Graham Bell. With the revolution of using telephonic instruments like the telephone, Graham Bell actually developed a talking device where you could phone someone who wasn't sitting in the same room. You could talk to someone in another city. And this was another revolution because communication now again had evolved. We no longer were just relying on print media or by word of mouth. Now we could actually speak on an instrument and talk a while with our friends and discuss the things that mattered to us. So we could hear and we could take part. Engagement, that was key. Again, radio started to develop. And here we're seeing a scene of a radio that is done in a suitcase. Can you imagine that? Walking around with a suitcase in order to tune into frequency to hear and listen what is being said out on the radio waves. So again, this was instrumental in the regard that we actually communicate in our world. Now, what was happening is that marketeers were starting to flock to this particular tool. They were starting to advertise and take talk radio and listen experience story radio to the new level. Into the television era. And here in South Africa, if you are in an older age group, you would have recognized this. This was the test pattern that you would sit and wait for as a young child, because television would only start at about 5:30 in the afternoon and end at 12 midnight. So again, here, television offered us another channel for communication. Not only now could we see pictures, hear audio, and put these two together to make an impression and create almost an identity around brand, but this was seen as a powerful tool because this is where stories will make and break a particular product. Again, marketeers flock to this type of tool because of the capacity and the reach when we're talking marketing and advertising. But communication was key in the television age. It basically, all the programs that were designed for TV were actually telling you how you should be living, how society should be acting. And again, if you think about all of the programs that were run when we were younger, all of those kinds of programs were depicting the life that you were leading. Into the web, we came from web 1.0 to 2.0, and now we're currently in 3.0, heading into 4.0. So web has even evolved in communication. When web first began in 1.0, it was very one-side driven. In other words, even if you were putting out a website, it was very static. You couldn't have any comments. Nobody could share the website with anyone. It was very static. It was almost like your window dressing point or your brochure out online, but no one could communicate. They could just gain information. So what happened is in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, when Web 1.0 fell over, Tim O'Reilly and Dale Docherty got together and decided to create a more interactive Web 2.0, where social and consumers now started to take part in the game of the web. And now even appliances like your cell phone, like a microwave, a television, could actually now start to talk with the web. So it became a more integrated web where there was a two-way phase. Not only were we talking to people, but we could actually have that back and forth kind of conversation. Engagement was important in 2.0. 3.0 started to develop and became even more exclusive with more appliances and different tools now using. We were developing applications, plugins to make our lives easier. And now that we're going into Web 4.0, everybody's calling it the social identity Web 4.0, where now people are flocking to social media in order for them to be heard, to share an opinion, to have that expression, that communication. All right, again, so as web started to develop, we started to understand that the world and the globe was almost our oyster. It was really at our doorstep, because with the age of email now, we didn't have to send posts through snail mail, like I like to call it, through the post office. Now what we could do is we could communicate with anyone in the globe by just sending a single message and an email and getting it out there. This was phenomenal. This was now a real huge development within the global space, and communication again effectively moved forward. Enter social media. Social media is only about 12 years old. And think about it. Imagine having that caveman come back into this day and age with all the social networking sites that are available. I'm sure he would feel confused. Where to go, what to do, how to do it first, where to even start. But right now with the social media boom, now people are going towards these particular tools, and they're using them to communicate their wants, their needs, their dislikes, their likes, their preferences, their expression, their opinion. So again, as this started to develop, it started to leave an imprint, a pattern of sorts. And what we understood is that digital right now is interactive. Right now, you're online with me, you're listening to a presentation that I'm doing. But behind the scenes, we're not seeing what is going on. There's a live camera view that is connecting me and you together in the world. Also, if you think about it, even right now on your social media, your friends are talking to you, they're sharing things. And it's interactive, it's engaging. And that's what's important. So here I want us to just take a look very quickly at a video that explains in detail what digital marketing is. But I want you to look at the aspect, especially in this video, when you're watching it, about how digital marketing leaves a pattern. Digital marketing leaves clues, and that you understand, because that is how we extract big data. So let's take a look at this video created by SAS, and I'm going to start it now.
Promotional.
Okay, let's just buff us through. Download this video.
But I want products or brands or electronic.
Okay, let's just take that to the back and let's begin.
By using digital marketing channels and methods, you can analyze your marketing campaign. What is working typically in real time? While the internet is the channel most closely associated with digital marketing, other channels are important. Digital media is everywhere. Consumers can access information wherever, whenever, and however they want it, and they are no longer influenced by just what you say about it.
Okay, so we can see there, and SAS quite evidently has spoken about it, is that big data, every time somebody comes towards your digital assets, they leave a journey or a pattern, and that data is mined. And when we as digital marketeers start to use this data, what we look at is we look at the journey that your specific customer takes. And it's important for us to understand that, because from that we can have tactical strategies in order to get in front of your client and to meet them at the points where their needs and wants are met. So big data, as you can see, is quite a huge subject, but it's very relevant in this world that we live in, especially when we are talking about understanding what our customer wants and needs are. And again, from a marketing element, it is so relevant. So what I'm going to do now is I'd like to introduce you to some tools that will enable you to actually read this data and to understand the journey of digital in itself. So the very first tool that I'd like to introduce to you is called the evolutionoftheweb.com. Now, this is a specific site, and I'm just going to quickly pop onto it. You can see there it's going to take me straight through to the actual window page. And this is a particular website that has gone and tracked and traced the entire timeline of the evolution of the web. So it looks at all of the search engines, it looks at all of that kind of data, and you can see here, it actually tracks out the line with regards to the timeline and the development of all of web tools. Okay. And that's the beauty around it, is that you can actually trace all of these because they all have patterns. And even as I go onto each of the timeline, it'll actually tell me what each point is connected to. It'll also give you the growth of the internet, and it'll show you the global growth of what is what has happened in the past and what is currently happening within the internet. And again, gives you significant stats and the growth thereof, done on a timeline frame. So the evolution of the web, 9 times out of 10, is a tool that I particularly like to use, especially when I'm explaining big data. And I'm basically letting people understand the capacity of digital and how much data it can actually collect, which is vital to understanding how people also interact with big data. A brilliant site that I'd like to introduce you to is called the Internet Live Stats. And again, here is a beautiful timeline with regards to what is currently happening out in the world right now when it comes to digital. This is a real time, which means that it's currently, it collects data in every millisecond around what is happening globally on the web. So here you can see there's an actual counter, and you can see there internet users around the world currently right now, total number of websites that are out there right now, emails sent today, Google searches made today, blog posts written today, tweets sent today, videos viewed today, photos uploaded today. So you can see this particular count looks at everything from social to web to even hacks that happen out on websites. So this particular counter counts in real time. And again, this is something phenomenal. And this is what excites me around digital, is that yes, it leaves clues. Digital has patterns, and understanding those patterns and dissecting them can actually bring you closer to your customer. Because again, understanding what they do and how we consume digital is important as a consumer as well as a marketeer. So again, you can use this tool as a way and a means to go and see what exactly is happening around the internet live stats. Okay. So in order for us to also understand that, okay, we have this digital thing. Yes, we use social media daily. Yes, we consume web. We go to different search engines every day. We search and discover things. That is important, but What we also want to understand is, how are we as South Africans connecting digitally? What is the landscape there, and how is this relevant? I beg your pardon. And how is this relevant for the global stage? So right now, if we look at digital in South Africa, we understand that 54.73 million of us are make up our total population. From that, over 26.84 million of us are using the internet daily, whether it's email, social media, searching on web. We are consuming digital. Also, if we have a look at active media social users, right now 13 million people are sitting on social media. And in particular, we've got about 13 million South Africans sitting on Facebook. So again, it's a place that you can harness capacity and get through numbers when we look at marketing stats. Mobile connections, out of the 54 million, 85.53 million of us use mobile to actually connect and integrate with when we're using digital. And this is significant. Again, here in Africa, especially in the African continent, mobile comes up top. Mobile and other devices like tablets and that we use to actually consume social. So that's significant, and I'll share some more deets as we go through. Also, active mobile social media users, 10 million in total. And that, again, is a huge number and a huge percentage. And the annual growth around digital, we are up 5% since January last year. We are up 10% when we look at social media users since January last year. And we're up 8% since January last year when it comes to our growth in the mobile subscription. And we are 6% down when it comes to active mobile social media users. Again, this is unique insight. And if we're looking at these particular numbers, mobile companies should realize that if they lowered their prices and had an entry level as far as mobile was concerned, so they would have a lot more consumers. Okay, so do you see how digital leaves clues? It's just about you understanding what the stats actually say and determining and thinking logically around it. Digital device and ownership right now in South Africa, you can see from mobile to tablet to desktop, as well as handheld devices, Xbox devices, PS station devices, all of those, we are connecting to the web. Time spent on media, this is very relevant again for marketeers. If you have a look there, the average daily use of internet is about 4 hours, average daily use of mobile, about 2 to 3 hours, average daily use of social media, you're looking at about 2 to 3 hours, and the average daily television viewing time has gone down to about 2 hours. So you can see there, and this is where that second or third screen comes into effect, because when you're sitting watching television, you are engaging on your mobile or your tablet as well. And a lot of people and a lot of companies are taking advantage of this now, because they understand that when you're sitting watching the adverts or something interesting in a documentary, you're going to go to mobile to go and check it out, or beg your pardon, the internet to go and check it out as well. The share of the web, if we have a look-see with regards to all of the devices, you can see again, all devices do share significant portion of the web. And in particular, again, also gaming devices also up there. Social media usage right now, with regards to the total number of active social media users, 13 million South Africans consume it. Active social users as a percentage of the total population is 24% of our population actually uses social media every day, with 10 million being the total number of social users accessing via mobile. So again, can you see the power of mobile coming in here? most people will use mobile. Again, also if we look at different corporations in our financial industries, as well as different, maybe other different industries, some people don't allow, and some businesses, I should actually say, don't allow social media networking. However, people are still using their mobiles, so it's irrelevant whether you are using a desktop or not. You can still access all of these using your mobile. The top social media platforms or channels that we have in South Africa to date, WhatsApp is right up at the top, and that's an instant messenger service. It is also used for business and has introduced very recently a structure for business marketing. Facebook, again, 30% of our culture is up there. They are consuming digital and they, I beg your pardon, they are consuming Facebook on a daily basis. Again, and if we're looking at a numbers game for marketeers, Facebook is an absolute venture game. There's tons of customers and leads that you can pull from there. Facebook Messenger is close behind, 20%. I don't know about you, but I speak to most of my friends as well as colleagues and some of our students on Facebook Messenger, and it's become a daily occurrence, and it's something that is consumed quite widely in South Africa. Google Plus, if you didn't think Google Plus was right up there, yes. South African, especially in South Africa, our particular audience does consume Google Plus. Majority are male, though. I'm not going to lie. There's a definite male presence there, and as opposed to female. But it's also a very good platform to hang out on. And a lot of techie people in IT, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, SMEs, they also hang out on G+. LinkedIn is the next one down, 13% of our population, close to 3 million South Africans are using LinkedIn. And those are your top level decision makers, right down to your entrepreneur, SMEs, starters. They are all consuming their LinkedIn. Twitter, 12%. Twitter has lost its standing in South Africa. It was higher a couple of years ago, but I think because of change and they haven't been innovative enough to actually keep up with the pack, they have gone down. Pinterest, funnily enough, very female-based, with only 13% being male who hang out on Pinterest. Pinterest is a fantastic space, especially if you have a design or a shop or a restaurant or anything to do with visuals. Even if you are a video photographer or a photographer, it's a wonderful space to actually go and showcase exactly what you do. BBM, funnily enough, it's still there. 9% of the population is using it. And Skype. And again, can you see the difference between people using Skype as opposed to Google+? Everybody's using G+ to go and use Hangouts as opposed to Skype. Why? Well, Skype chews bandwidth, it chews data. And also out on Skype, you can't do a training just like I'm doing with you right now. You can't showcase that. You have to find another platform to actually do that. And G+, you have everything done for you. And the beauty behind using G+ is that it plugs into this application where you are right now on Facebook. So again, it is a powerful tool, and I prefer to use it over Skype. Those are the top active social media platforms right now in South Africa that people are consuming. And if you thought that people are too scared to buy anything out online, this number starts to grow. Every time I go and I do a session, whether it's at a university, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's at a business, whether it's at a entrepreneur enterprise startup, and I do this, I ask people if they have purchased online, to keep their hand up if they have purchased using a mobile, to still remain, to keep their hand up if they've used their tablet to purchase something. And this is growing, guys. And I don't know about you, but I purchase from the internet quite often, whether it's on desktop, laptop, or on mobile. But e-commerce right now is growing within the industry. And if you are thinking of a startup or you're thinking of taking your business to the web, this is the time for you to be alive. You need to start to position yourself out there, because right now people are buying second to none out online. It's just become an expression or extension of what we do on a daily basis. All right, so what does this all mean for digital? All of the stats and this data. It means that anyone can create information. It also means that anyone can discover or find information. And the best of all is that you can store it and you can search for free. Not only that, like I said, digital leaves a pattern. Digital leaves clues. Because if we look at the mental model formula, we'll discover that because of the digital footprint that has now started to take shape within our global stance, that we have now introduced the 0 moment of truth. Have you ever heard of that word? It's called SMART. Have you ever heard of 0 moment of truth? Well, if you're a marketeer, this will become something quite familiar. But back in the day when we had traditional marketing, we only had really the first moment of truth, which is when a person would go and purchase it from a shopping center. And then the second moment of truth to rely on, which was when you took the product home, or you experienced the service, and then the outcome. So back in the day, we weren't spoiled for choice, because right now digital enables us to read data, to think strategically, and to also analyze way before the second moment of truth even starts to develop. So with the entry of digital, we have a 0 moment of truth where we can measure, we can research, and we can already read data around what is currently happening within the business. And that is big. Just think about it. That is huge, because now you have unique insights into your customer without you spending too much money in the R&D of your development. And also, not only that, it gives us the opportunity to go and test things out in the market. For instance, like this morning, I had a technical issue. It took me all of a minute to fix out and get back on. Whereas if I made a print error in a printed magazine or a newspaper advertised a particular advert, I could not retract it, fix it, and get it out there. So digital has its huge advantages, and that's what excites me around digital. It doesn't have only that human element and the insights to how your customer wants the product or the service delivered to them, but it also adds the element of discovery, and that is huge possibility. And again, when we look at anything digital, this is what we call a social media or a link wheel. So with regards to this is our blueprint or our map that kind of sets our digital assets and the products or the tools that we use. This is how we start to put them together. And especially when I'm working with any new business, I look at their web assets, and I look at their social assets, and I look at their media channels on where we're going to amplify that message. And this is all put into line. And just like you saw in the SaaS video earlier, is that nothing works without actually having a customer-based CRM system where you are permanently engaged with your customer. You see, because when your customer goes out and they go to a new store or they're exposed to new products that might be the same as in line of you, you want your customer to always think, but wait, I remember receiving an email and I saw on Facebook that this other company who's selling the same things has got my back, because they are communicating with me and they remain top of mind. Therefore, I will come back and purchase with them. Creating that know, trust, and like factor around your customer is ultimate. And we do that by extracting big data, by understanding the journey that your customer takes, whether they go to your social sites, your website, or your media channels, because ultimately we want to know what they are saying, how they're engaging, and how they're consuming your particular business. So again, it comes down to that know, like, and trust factor. So remember the story in our first session last week when I mentioned Woolworths and what happened with touchy-feely? Well, Woolworths approached this young designer. They were in talks, and this designer designed a particular hummingbird print which she was going to supply to Woolworths in order for them to stock in their stores. Well, what happened is that Woolworths then undercut her, went and got another designer and got it done cheaply, and literally ran with her design in their stores. Well, there was huge outrage, and of course, Woolworths had to step up to the plate and be transparent and announce across social as well as on their website that there was an allegation and that they were going to actually solve it. Because of that announcement, social media also went crazy. And within a couple of hours, this was blowing up across social, and people started to have an opinion around it. So it meant that Woolworths had to own up. They had to actually do something of significance. They had to actually listen to the customer. They had to deliver and tell what the customers what were happening around that situation. And during this period in 2013 around Woolworths, there was also a lot of negativity around some of the quality goods that they were selling. But not only that, there was also a lot of upheaval in South Africa because Woolworths had announced that they were going to push their affirmative action strategy, meaning that they were only looking to employ Black people. And again, there was a blow up around social media. So Woolies during 2013 got a lot of bad rap. So what did they do to counterbalance this? Woolies went straight ahead. Watch and listen. Okay, so did you see there? Right. So did you see there how important, I beg your pardon, not important. Let me just get back. Okay. So did you notice in that video that they had actually got some singers involved and they did a little bit of a flash mob, almost like a feel-good scenario story within the store, and they had people respond to that, not only the audience right there when they actually flighted this particular a video out on digital. A lot of South Africans started to share that particular message. So again, when we're looking at digital marketing, we've also got to understand that digital marketing somehow has that element when not only do we extract this data and we can then deliver to our clients something of value to counteract our negativity, but this also allowing and understanding the big data enabled Woolworths to deliver something of value and something that made people feel good inside, almost bringing that unity in what they were doing. Okay, so again, understanding that big data like this can actually form and almost counterbalance that no trust and like factor on a negative base and form it into a positive. Because what Woolworths had done is they told their story. They told their story through that video about being proudly South African, about the merchandise, about caring about, and during that time, although it was Christmas, the Christmas period, Madiba was still around. So it was almost like that that affiliation where they were placing themselves in the same value or the same sect. It allowed for brand awareness because as soon as they did that, they had an instant audience reaction in the video. But not only that, when they loaded the video, they had reaction from their consumers who then went out and shared that video. It enabled them to give giveaways. And you saw in the video, they were giving things away, little taste treats, flowers, gifts. But not only that, when they uploaded this out onto their digital platform, it was also an opportunity for their customer to share that video as a sense of a giveaway for them as well. That sparked off customer engagement. And people started talking around this. Wow, look at this video. Wow, there was a flash mob. I was caught in it. This is what I saw. Isn't this beautiful? Don't we have a beautiful country? It sparked off engagement around the consumer, spreading that by word of web or by word of mouth potential. Again, allowing people now to tell the story of Woolworths, creating ambassadors around their brand. That is how you create the know, like, and trust factor, and which is so essential today in digital. And not only that, because we look at data that pertains to the customer and the brand. So the brand would look at those assets and deliver that to the customer. But the customer, in turn, also has a cycle. And especially when we are looking at conversion, there is a certain methodology, there's a psychology to this, especially when it comes to humans. They have to listen. And you as the brand also have to listen. So you have to listen to the needs and the wants of your consumer and deliver what they want in order for them to interact with that product, that service, that brand. And then you, in turn, as the brand, can react. And then from that creates a conversion. So again, let's take that video into a context here. Whereas Woolworths, as the brand, listened, they saw that their brand was under crisis. They had a lot of negativity around their brand and they wanted a feel-good story. In turn, their consumers, they were upset. They took to social media. They ranted and raved about what was happening. And they also were listening to what the brand had to say and what other consumers were saying. From that led to interaction, where the brand now had to go out and say, yes, we are aware of these allegations. And from that, the reaction from the community started to take effect. And like I said, within 2 hours, this blew up across social as well as digital. Everybody was talking about it. Bad publicity, them stealing designs, them not knowing and understanding the consumer. And again, that led to a reaction from the brand. Oh boy, we're in trouble. How are we going to change that perception around our brand? Then that leads to conversion. So the brand is thinking, okay, we can produce this particular flash mob within one of our stores and get the reaction. And then again, if we look at the consumer, wow, I'm standing here, I'm a part of this. Woolworths has delivered a flash mob. Isn't this amazing? I feel good. They sing well. I feel a part of a community. The convert happens immediately. And again, the customers now in tune. They are open to listening more to the brand. So the customer cycle is very relevant. And again, this is where we gain that data from in order for us to understand exactly what is happening around the brand. So here I want to go and share one other very big brand that is quite global. And even if you look at the red top, you already know what it is. It's Coca-Cola. I get kind of cold shivers down my spine when I do see the adverts. Although I'm not a consumer of Coca-Cola, I don't consume Coke, but I do enjoy watching their campaigns. The way they read the data and they are in tune with their customer. And that, I think, is what excites me around Coca-Cola. It's not a brand that I would purchase, but it's definitely a brand that I watch. So I want you to take a look at this next video around Coca-Cola. This was an interesting campaign, and if you did take part of it, of this particular campaign, was called the Share a Coke campaign. And Ogilvy actually won a Cannes around it. So let's go and have a look at this particular video.
So here I want to go and share one other very big brand that is quite global, and even if you look at the red top, you already know what it is. It's Coca-Cola. I love, I cold shivers down my spine when I do see the adverts. Although I'm not a consumer of Coca-Cola, I don't consume Coke, but I do enjoy watching
So we decided to get
the way they read the
Australians all
data
over
and
to share a Coke.
they are classy cakes. Crazy cakes. If you know a cake, share a Coke with Kate. Or Mel, or Dave.
So I want you to take a look at the next video around Coca-Cola. This was an interesting campaign, and if you did take part of this particular campaign, it was called the Share a Coke campaign. And Ogilvy actually won a Cannes around. So let's go and have a look at this particular video.
The media instantly took notice. The internet blew up. Thousands of requests forwarded. Invited Australians to launch Share a Coke over the world's most iconic brands. The stats: 87% increase in Facebook traffic. World 2008 Europe 76,000 virtual Coke shares, 378,000 custom Coke printed. In just 3 short months, Jump's adult consumption increased by 7%. So, transactions were up 4%, volume increased by 4%. Applied to a label. Once it's become the most popular culture.
So you could see there that, again, Coca-Cola with this particular campaign really just blew up across digital, not only in digital, but also in social. And this was a particular campaign that everybody got involved in. Everybody wanted their name printed on a can. Everybody wanted to share it with their friends. And it really just blew up wildly across digital. So the number one objective there, as you could see, is that they created a connection with their target audience. They listened to what their target audience wanted, and they actually planned around it and delivered exactly what their target audience wanted. Because that audience is actually your prospects. And what they decided, and you saw in that video, was that a lot of the youth had not tasted Coke, and they wanted new consumer. That was their main objective, but they connected so broadly with it, they didn't expect it to blow up so well. So again, having that main objective in mind and understanding that big data can actually gain and give you almost that advantage in market placing will actually help you. Because brands are born of experience and they reflect trust. Just like in the Coca-Cola video, where you saw that they put a call out to an audience. They asked them how do they want to connect? How do they want to use the product? And when they decided to use names on certain cans, automatically the consumer wanted more, and more sales were made. Profits started to skyrocket. Newsworthy stories were starting to come out, and a lot of people were tagging Coke and buying a Coca-Cola and actually sharing them. Because again, perceptions as always lies in the mind of the consumer. If you can deliver a product of value and keep on delivering value, your consumer will come back for more. So that also takes into account your customer relationship. It takes into account the moments of when you connect with your targeted audience. And all of this runs into big data. So what is big data? Big data is measurement. It's analyzing the analytics that are provided on digital, reading all of that 0 moment of truth, understanding what the consumer is already saying about the brand online, understanding when they go towards your assets, your digital or social assets, what is the journey that they take? Where do they go? Why do they populate those pages? How long do they stay? What do they interact with? What do they gauge? What do they share? All of this is big data. And having big data at your fingertips allows you as a marketeer to actually get inside your consumer's head. So right now, what I would like to go and do is I'm going to share a couple of tools that you can use in order for you to go and read data for yourself. And again, this is something that you can start to use within your business or within your personal brand, and as well as for your competitors. Go and have a look and see what they're doing. One of the tools that I often use, and that's to measure if there is any noise or amplification around certain words or keywords. I use a wonderful tool called google.com/trends. Now, Google Trends is a wonderful space that you can start to use. And you use this in a very particular way. Is you either use it in the keyword that was actually located for the actual campaign, or you can use the business name. And again, here, you can even go and use your competitor. I could actually go and add in Pepsi there as well. Let's go and do that. PepsiCo. Okay. All right, so just by adding one more algorithm, you can absolutely see there that Share a Coke campaign, it blew up across digital. And this particular yellow thread that we are seeing here, I like to call them heartbeats, but this is data around that Share a Coke campaign. Okay, if we look here, this red icon is the Coca-Cola company. Can you see how low their footprint is? Yes, they do have a heartbeat. People are talking about them, but people are talking more about the Share a Coke as opposed to Coca-Cola. Can you see that? PepsiCo falls right down underneath. There is no, people are talking about it, but there's not a lot of data or speak or opinion happening around it. And also, I've gone put in Coca-Cola because across the globe, people know it as Coca-Cola, and that particular one Again, you can actually have a look-see with regards to it. Oh, I beg your pardon, I've made a mistake here. The Share a Coke campaign is blue. And again, you can see there's nothing happening around it. But Coca-Cola is the yellow. And Coca-Cola is the keyword that a lot of people go and search for or have an opinion, and they put out a post around. So this particular time feature, you can actually see that there are people that are talking around these particular keywords. And again, Google Trends you can use in this manner. There's other ways and means that you can also use it as well. All right, so let's head back to the other tools. I want to showcase to you a few others. The next one is a tool that we use quite often to read big data. And again, it just gives us insight, unique insight into our consumer, as well as our brand and how it is actually developing. So here, and this is a social tool, here this particular tool reads specifically Facebook data. And just going to go and head out onto it because I actually preloaded it up with Coca-Cola and that Share a Coke campaign. So you can go and use Like Analyzer as a way to go and read and understand the data that is shared on this particular page. So you can see there, it actually gives you a reading on the page. It's a 59 right now, which is a good page grade. And then the recommendations there, you can see it. It gives you stats with, it even tells you what to do. That's how simple these tools are. Like other pages, create more engaging posts, review the length of your posts, publish more photos, and respond to posts and others frequently. That will take you higher than the 59 that you are in at the moment. It also reads data like page information, like and shares. It reads information around comparisons. If you have a look with regards to Coca-Cola, it's other similar pages. You can see the similar pages that pop up are these pages right down here at the bottom. It also gives you information about posts that you do as a brand and posts that your community does as the brand, and also some specific links that you can go and read up to improve your stance out on Facebook. So Like Analyzer is a particular tool that you can start to use effectively, especially if you're wanting to read Facebook data. Okay. All right, so that's the other one. There is another one after this, and it's called Social Mention. And let's go out there because I've already uploaded the data on the Share a Coke for campaign out on here. Now, Social Mention is another tool that you can start to use. And basically what this does is it searches across the universe. And it basically correlates and mines all the data around your particular keywords. And this keyword that I'm using is Share a Coke because I wanted to monitor that particular campaign. So again, it pulls from Twitter, from any social networking sites, actually. I don't want to be specific because it goes across the board. And it also looks on digital, if there's any blogs, any websites that are listed as well. So up at the top here, you can see it'll give you the strength of the campaign as well as the sentiment around it. It'll also give you the passion post, if this is being used and how often. It'll also give you the potential reach of how wide your particular campaign has gone. Underneath there, you can see that it'll give you real-time data and stats. There's 1 minute average per mention. Last mention was just now. 148 unique authors and 31 retweets. So it gives you a basic stance with regards to that particular Share a Coke keyword. Again, it'll dissect the sentiment and it'll give you the negative and positive and its attributes around it. And then it'll also give you other keywords around this particular Share a Coke that people started to use within their posts. It'll also identify top users and share of the Share a Coke campaign. And underneath there also will identify top hashtags that it's used as well. And then it'll also deliver the channels of sources where they've actually gone and pulled all of the data from in order for you to go and have a look, see. Again, it's a very powerful tool. And when you measure and when you understand all of this, and what it actually means. It makes it easier for you to deliver your marketing and to also go and evaluate the brand to see if it's actually delivering the message to the right target audience as well. And then last but not least is a wonderful tool that we use, which is Think with Google. Google has really kind of gone out and made it really easy, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a small to medium enterprise and you want to know how to interact and use Google tools and what is available to you to use. Think with Google has gone and listed different case studies, different examples, and different ideas for you to go and actually read up about and go and mimic and copy. So it's a wonderful resource that I always use, especially when I am sitting with a brand new company and they don't really know where they want to go. We also go and have a look-see at case studies that Think with Google actually accommodates out here as well. So it's a wonderful space and a wonderful resource to use within your marketing toolkit as well. Okay, and that's about it. I'm going to start to finish off. And I just want to finish off with this particular little nugget from Eric. The internet will transform advertising and marketing because of its trackability, not of its beauty. And I would absolutely agree, because right now, as marketeers, we are absolutely spoiled for choice. All of the data at our fingertips. We have all of the necessary information at our fingertips. All we have to do is learn how to dive into it and take advantage of it so that we can deliver kick-ass campaigns that not only speak to our consumer, but deliver the capacity and deliver at the moment that our customer wants and needs it. So again, guys, thank you very much. Just before I say goodbye, I just want to come towards the page and see if anyone is chatting or asking some questions. Let's just refresh now. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Speed to Market. Hi, guys. Welcome. Great for you to join me. Smirk Marketing. Hey, Justin and crew. Awesome that you're here. SEO Tip Spots. Hey, guys. Nice to have you join me. Thank you very much. Is there any questions? Coffee Shop says they love the 4-step mental model. Yes, it's easy, quick, and really easy to use. And it's something that you can also apply to your own business as well. Thanks to SEO Tip Spot for coming on through. Great having you here. Big up, Lucille Divine. This is powerful training right to me, learning live. Thank you for bringing the training to us, watching live on the phone. Great, groundbreaking. Awesome. Thanks, Justin and the Smirk Marketing crew. Always a pleasure to have you hang on and learn some more with me. Great having you here. Thank you. Speed to Market, great stuff, Lucille. Looking forward to learning more about big data. Awesome. Thanks, guys. It's been wonderful hanging out here with you. And again, if you want any information about what I do, or if you would like to get in touch or a hold of me to help you or train you when it comes to using digital marketing, here are my details. You can always grab my attention on Gmail. My Gmail account is lucilledivine@gmail.com. Or else connect with me direct. If you would like to phone me, my office line is 079-335-9534. Or else just hang out here and maybe you want to leave me a comment below. Let me know if you found this training of any value. And what more did you want to know about big data? Did I cover it all for you? Let me know. I love positive criticism because it only helps me to up my game a little bit more. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to pop on over. Let me formally and officially say goodbye. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me today. It's been my absolute pleasure. I look forward to next week, where I will be talking about content marketing, and also a little around about social media, because we need to also understand how these assets work best for us as well. So same time, same place. I'll catch you live next week. Thanks for hanging out with me. From my side, I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good day. Bye.